Can you talk a little bit about toxic relationships and gaslighting? How does one identify the signs?
Well, toxic relationships. Well, I
And
wrote a
gaslighting.
and gaslighting. Well, I wrote a an article which was more about trauma bonding, what we call as. I wrote this for a newspaper in Kashmir called Rising Kashmir, and I think it should be somewhere else as well. Maybe later we can share the link and you can share it with others too. So what happens in toxic relationships, when we talk about relationships which are toxic, which means there is no room for growth and there is a lot of manipulation. And trust me, a lot of the clients that I deal with, especially girls, right? They're always there has always been cases of there is gaslighting and there is always trauma bonding, what we call as. So gaslighting, what is gaslighting basically? And I'm actually going to make a full video about it and how it works in relationships, but just briefly. Gaslighting means, it's a form of abuse, by the way. Gaslighting is a form of abuse. It's a form of emotional manipulation in which you make other people doubt their sanity. And this is basically based on a play called as gaslight. So basically, let's say you have a light and it works on the basis of a gas, right? So in the play, the guy wrote in 34 and then in 1944, they made a movie, if I'm not mistaken. So in which there is a husband and a wife. So in the attic, or what you call as the basement, let's say. So the guy puts on gas lights. He puts on lights, there is a gas and stuff. And the wife is like, why are the lights on? And the husband is like, what lights are you talking about? Nothing's on. It's just in your head. There is not in the reality. That is where the gaslighting term comes from. You manipulate a partner in a relationship. It's a form of toxic relationship in which you shift. Either you tell them that you're crazy, this cannot happen, or you're not taking responsibility for your actions. So for example, spending a lot of money in a relationship and you just blame it to the other partner. No, it's because of this and because of that. And we have nothing to worry about. Making those small promises, for example, so these are some of the examples of gaslighting as well as trauma bonding. And trauma bonding is different. Why? Because in a trauma bond, especially women are the ones that suffer. And even though you know for sure, my boyfriend, my spouse, they're abusive, but you're still not able to leave them. You leave them for a while, then you just want to get back together because you want to suffer abuse. I mean, sorry, not because you want to suffer abuse, but because human beings don't like to be lonely. So, and the manipulator on the other side, one who is gaslighting and one who is an abuser, they give you those small promises. They're like, you know what? I'm so sorry. It's never going to happen in the future. I've been so bad all this time, right? And why does it work? A lot of people, because I study criminology as well. And as a passion, what I do is I study criminology. It's a part of psychology as well. And one of the questions that I get asked when it comes to crime is people who are criminals or who are abusers and stuff, how do they still manage to be in relationships with people and stuff? Let me give you an example. Ted Bundy was the greatest serial killer in America. I mean, he had such a huge female following. Who wouldn't even believe that he's a serial killer? Why? And the same thing happens in toxic relationships and gaslighting as well. How does the relationship survive? Because our mind has a specific way of working. We love surprises, right? Human beings love surprises. So you know that you're in a relationship with a bad person, with an evil abuser. So, you cannot expect good from that person because like he's like 100% or 90% bad. But imagine that person who you think he's so bad, he gives you those small surprises and you don't expect kindness from him or her, but he starts acting kind. So it's unexpected, right? And human mind loves what is unexpected. So that's how the relationship continues, based on those small promises or based on those small reinforcements, like a small gift, etc. It's not going to happen ever again. Please stay with me. Don't leave me. I will be so miserable without you. I cannot find someone like you. So please, that begging and, that crying and all those things, these are all a part of manipulation. So if you know that somebody is abusing or gaslighting you, it's definitely the best time to just leave off from the relationship.